I'm a senior in college, and in just a few weeks, I'll be graduating. That should feel exciting, right? But lately my thoughts have been consumed by something much darker. Something that still makes my stomach twist every time I think about it. Let me start from the beginning. A boring spring break. Until it wasn't. I've never been the kind of guy who could handle wild week-long spring break trips like most of my friends. Miami, Cancun, random beach houses where everyone is drunk and loud all night long, that lifestyle just doesn't fit me. Instead, every spring break, I go home. No stress, no drama, no noise, just quiet. I tell myself I'm recharging, catching up on sleep, taking care of myself. And for the most part, that's true. This past spring break was supposed to be the same. A whole week off the grid. No papers, no exams, no fake smiles at frat parties. Just me, my parents' house, and maybe a little time at the gym to keep myself in check. But I didn't know then that this would be the spring break that left me with nightmares. Monday morning. It was the first morning of break. A Monday. I woke up early 6 a.m., like always, because even when I'm home with no obligations, I can't bring myself to sleep in. Morning workouts are the one thing in my life that feels structured, the one thing that makes me feel like I'm in control. So, I dragged myself out of bed, put on my gym clothes, and by 6:20, I was already driving. The gym is about 15 minutes away, all back roads, quiet neighborhoods, perfectly ordinary, perfectly uneventful. At least, that's what I thought. The first sighting. I had music on some random YouTube beats to keep me awake, but I turned it down when something caught my eye. On the side of the road, parked along the curb, was an ice cream truck. At first, I barely registered it, but as I passed, something about it sank its claws into my brain. It was March. Cold. Kids were in school. There was no reason for an ice cream truck to be sitting there at 6:30 inches the morning. Engine off. No lights on. I slowed down just enough to glance through the driver's window. Empty. Nobody inside. The truck just sat there, silent, abandoned, like it didn't belong. I turned the corner and kept driving. But I couldn't shake the thought. Why did it feel so wrong? It wasn't just that it was too early in the season. It was that I couldn't remember ever seeing an ice cream truck in my neighborhood. Not once, not even as a kid. The thought made me shiver, but eventually, I pushed it out of my head. I had a workout to get through. The second encounter. After my workout, I grabbed a bite to eat and drove home, feeling productive. But as I turned onto the same street from earlier, my stomach dropped. The ice cream truck was still there. Same spot, same eerie stillness. Now, I don't know about your neighborhood, but where I grew up, people don't tolerate things like that. A strange vehicle sitting out front for too long, someone would have called the cops already. So, why was it still there? I drove past slowly. This time, I noticed something different. Someone was inside. A man. And he was staring right at me. Our eyes locked for a moment, and I instantly regretted looking. His face. He had this long, sharp nose, almost cartoonish, and a scraggly beard that looked like it hadn't been trimmed in years. His eyes were sunken, tired, but alert like a predator watching prey. He didn't smile. He didn't move. He just stared. I swallowed hard and kept driving, my hands tightening on the steering wheel. Something about that man felt wrong. Very, very wrong. He followed me. I tried to forget about it. When I got home, my parents were at work, so I had the house to myself. I spent a few hours killing time on my laptop. For a while, I almost convinced myself I'd overreacted. Until I went to get the mail. It was maybe 2 p.m., sunny, normal, safe. But when I reached the end of the driveway, I froze. Across the street, 3 houses down, sat the same ice cream truck. I couldn't see the man's face this time. The truck was parked at an angle, facing away. But I knew he had followed me home. The air felt heavy in my lungs as I grabbed the mail and walked back inside, trying not to look suspicious, trying not to let him know I'd seen him. Upstairs, I rushed into the guest bedroom and pulled back the curtain just enough to peek out. The truck was still there, silent, unmoving, watching. Every time I checked, it was in a different spot on the street, like he was deliberately repositioning to make sure he had the best view of my house. For hours, through the binoculars. By now, paranoia had wrapped itself around me like a noose. I couldn't sit still, couldn't think, couldn't focus. Finally, I remembered that my brother used to birdwatch, and I dug through his room until I found a pair of binoculars. With shaky hands, I crept back to the window. The truck was still there. I raised the binoculars and instantly wished I hadn't. Through the driver's side window, I saw the man. Not just sitting, not just waiting, but watching. He was holding binoculars of his own, aimed directly at me. Our eyes met again, magnified, locked through twin lenses. My stomach lurched. The man dropped his binoculars, started the truck, and sped away. I stumbled back from the window, my heart pounding like a drum. That was it. That was enough. I grabbed my phone and called the police. The police don't help. The dispatcher was calm, too calm. I explained everything, the truck, the man, the binoculars. She told me they'd send a patrol car to check the area. It should be easy to spot an ice cream truck, she said. And then she hung up. That was it. No reassurance, no urgency. When my parents got home later, I told them what happened. They were concerned, of course, but they also told me not to stress. Probably just some creep, my dad said. He's gone now. You're safe. I wanted to believe him, but deep down, I knew better. 3 a.m. That night, I woke up. No alarm, no reason, just an overwhelming sense that something wasn't right. I grabbed my phone. 3:12 a.m. At first, everything was silent. Then, I heard it. Music. Faint. Distant. A melody I recognized instantly. The jingle of an ice cream truck. The sound made my skin crawl. And then, click. Something hit my window. Soft. Sharp. A rock. Someone was throwing rocks at my window. I froze, my entire body locked up. The music kept playing, faint, eerie, floating through the night. Finally, trembling, I forced myself to move. I crept to the window and stood to the side, heart slamming against my ribs. On the count of 3, I yanked back the curtain, and I saw him. The man, standing in my yard, directly below my window, and he wasn't alone. On either side of him, holding his hands, were 2 small children. The missing twins. I didn't think. I didn't breathe. I ran. I woke my dad, already dialing 911 with shaking fingers. But by the time we got outside, the man was gone. Gone, as if he had never been there at all. The police came again, but there was nothing to report. No truck, no man, nothing. Days passed, then weeks. And just as I started to think maybe it was all over, my mom called me. Her voice was tight, serious. She told me about a missing persons case that had just gone public. 2 6-year-old twins, a boy and a girl. They had vanished from a neighborhood 30 minutes from ours. The second she said it, my mind went back to that night. Back to the yard. Back to the 2 small figures holding the man's hands. And my blood ran cold. Why me? I still don't understand. Why follow me? Why sit outside my house for hours? Why throw rocks at my window? If he really had kidnapped those kids, why risk drawing attention to himself? Unless it wasn't about the kids at all. Unless it was about me. The end. For now. I wish I had answers. All I have are questions, paranoia, and an image burned into my brain that will never leave me. The man, the truck, the music, the 2 children, standing in my yard. watching me. If that story kept you looking over your shoulder tonight, imagine what else could be lurking out there. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more terrifying stories, and ring the bell so you never miss a nightmare.